students of BA Part 3rd doing their honors in English. A very warm and sunny morning to all of you. Dear students, after a long gap, once again I am trying to connect myself to you through my YouTube channel. These days I was very busy with the students of BA Part 1 and Part 2. I have discussed so many chapters to them. I have tried to solve so many problems of theirs. Some of the students sent their problems through messages. I have tried my level best to sort out those problems, to solve their problems. This COVID-19 has destroyed the very fabric of society, the very fabric of education, the very fabric of living standard, and so on and so forth. We have been taking or organizing online classes, trying to make these classes responsive, trying our level best to make these classes useful for the students. In between, I have got some messages from the students of BA Part 3rd, means from you people. And those messages of you told me, or rather requested me to do with you a very reflective, suggestive and highly pertinent poem written by Isaac Rosenberg, which is prescribed in your syllabus, in your textbook, that is The Break of the Day in the Trenches. Break of the Day in the Trenches. Dear students, you know the fact very well that Isaac Rosenberg is a war poet. There are so many war poets like Isaac Rosenberg, Wilfred Owen, Robert Graves, Rupert Brooks, etc. These war poets are the result of two world wars. The first, which was fought between 1914 to 1918, and the Second World War from 1939 to 1945. These poets, which I have named, or the names, or some of the names are there on the whiteboard: Wilfred Owen, Isaac Rosenberg, Rupert Brooke, Robert Graves, are certainly the result of the First World War. Some of these poets were enlisted in war, and they have sacrificed themselves on the altar of war. They died there in action. Poets like Wilfred Owen, Isaac Rosenberg, etc., they have sacrificed themselves. In war poetry, there are two groups. In one group, the most important poet of that particular group, which exalts war, which glorifies war, which speaks good of war, not because war is a great thing, or war gives life, or war brings some gifts, but simply because war provides a chance to show one's patriotism. War provides a chance to sacrifice oneself for the sake of one's country. And Rupert Brooke leads that school of war poet. Wilfred Owen is against. However, he too, in his early poems, he too shows his love for war, but later on, he changes the gear and he denounces war. And here, Isaac Rosenberg too is against war. Dear students, first of all, we have to consider upon the propriety of war, upon the utility of war, upon the advantage of war, upon the result of war, upon the output of war. What do we get? Dear students, we human beings are also animals. The growth in our nails or hair is very much reflective of this fact that there is savagery in our blood. There is barbarity in our blood. Basically or primarily, we are animals. We are ferocious as the tiger, or rather more ferocious, more barbarous than the tiger. A tiger kills just to satiate his hunger, just to fill his stomach. He drinks blood to satiate his thirst. We have no reason to drink blood. We have no reason to kill human beings. But we do so. We kill them, or we kill ourselves in the name of war, in the name of religion, in the name of different things, in the name of so many orthodoxies. We fight, we quarrel, we go for war, knowing the fact very well that war is always destructive. It is never constructive. It can't create. It always destroys. It always destructs. It always spills blood. Dear students, you people are young ones. You are the bright future of the world. You must keep it in your mind that war is no solution to any problem. You might have seen in Mahabharata, Lord Krishna tries his level best not to go for war. He says that war is the last option. We must try to solve the problem through peace, through dialogue, through talks. There is no problem which can't be solved out through dialogues, through sincere dialogues, through sincere talks. Mind it, I am telling you sincere dialogues, sincere talks, honest dialogues, honest steps, honest approach to any problem are bound to bring out the solution, are bound to solve the problem. A man must try his level best not to go for war. When there is no other option, when all other options fail to solve out, to sort out the issue, the problem, then man is optionless. And in that state of condition, or in that state, there is no other option for him than to go for war, because he has to protect self-respect. But there are warmongers. There are persons who love wars because they get the chance to earn money. They earn money through war. There are some countries which play a very, very vital role for the creation of war. They make money. They are the warmongers. They are in love with war. They romance with war. They lose nothing. They gain from war. But who are the sufferers? Ordinary people are the sufferers. Our poor soldiers are the sufferers. The mothers of the soldiers are the sufferers. The wives of the soldiers are the sufferers. The sisters of the soldiers are the sufferers. That means the relatives of the soldiers are the sufferers. Life is very costly, dear students. Life is very important. It must be preserved. No doubt, death is certain. One who is born has to die, today or tomorrow, sooner or later. What does war do? It kills man. This means it brings death. It brings destruction. So death will come. Let death come at its appointed hour. Let it come at its fixed hour. Let man die his natural death. Death must not be sponsored. Death must not be created. One must not welcome, or one must not pave the way for death, or for the arrival of the death, as happens in the case of war. War is what? It is the ready-made death, ready-made killing of the innocent lives. War spills the blood. War brings mourning, M-O-A-N-I-N-G. War brings mourning, M-O-U-R-N-I-N-G. War brings sobbing. War brings sulking. In war, of course, when two groups fight, when two nations fight, one will be victorious and the others will be losers. But mind it, no country can win without losing some of the important lives of their. So many soldiers from both the groups, from both the parties, lose their lives. So, dear students, war must be stopped. We are intellectual people. We are wise. We are educated. We are literate. We cut our nails. We get our we get our nails cut. We get our locks or hair cut just to show that we are against savagery. We are against barbarity. We do not want to harm others. Since the growth of nails, since the very long nails are the symbol of savagery, are the symbol of barbarity, we get these nails cut. But we do all these things outwardly. We fail to cut the nails which grow inwardly in us. We fail to clear our thought. We fail to clear our mind. We fail to keep our heart and thinking or our ideas very neat and clean. We must believe in live and let live, because this world this planet has been created by the Almighty. Almost all the lives which we find upon this planet, upon this earth, are created or have been created by the Almighty. We all have, almost all the creatures have the right to live upon this earth with peace, with amity, with integrity, with self-respect, with love. We have got our boundaries. We have got our living places. We have got our countries. We have every country. Each country has its own boundary. And if that country is satisfied to live within its boundary, the question of war can't arise. If we are satisfied with what we have, the question of clash can't arise. We must work together. We must love each other. We must try to provide each other the facilities, the chance to grow ahead. We must live with peace. We must live with amity. After all, we have been sent upon this earth by the Almighty to live with peace. We have been asked by the Almighty to serve the needy. We must work together for the cause of humanity. Of course, if we go on showing our love for war, that day is not far away when this earth will become a barren land. Dear students, Once the great scientist Einstein was asked by some of the reporters regarding the Third World War. Einstein told, or he retorted, that he can't say anything, or he has no idea regarding the third world war, but he can say something regarding or about the Fourth World War. And almost all the reporters were perplexed, they were surprised, they were astonished to have the answer, have such type of answer from the side of or from Einstein. And Einstein told, yeah, I can imagine, I can tell you about Fourth World War, and I can definitely tell you that there can't be or there won't be Fourth World War. Fourth World War nahi hoga, because after third World War there will be no existence of life or human life upon this earth. So who will fight? Who will go for Fourth World War? Because dogs can't go. Dogs can't go for the World War. Dogs having 4 legs do not go or can't go for the world wars. Only the dogs of 2 legs can go for the world war, as happened in the 2 world wars, in the first and the second. The dogs of 2 legs have created those 2 world wars, and of course the same will be done, that if the third is found, the same will be done by the 2-legged dogs. And therefore, after the complete annihilation of life upon this earth, there can't be Fourth World War. So war is very explosive, it is very destructive, it is very dangerous, it will wipe out life from this earth. The students, see the earth, see the beauty of the earth, see the bounties of the earth, see the beautiful sun rising, see the beautiful sun setting, see the air blowing, see the gentle breeze blowing, see the cuckoo who is cooing, see the singing or the chirping of the birds, see the flowing of the rivers. So see the different flowers, see their colors, enjoy the fragrance, see how beautiful is life. And once a man is dead, he is good for nothing. What does war bring? What does a bullet do? It changes a living identity in a non-living identity in a flash, in the twinkling of the eye. Two of the soldiers are fighting, they are targeting each other, they are trying to hit each other by their bullet. A soldier shoots, a soldier fires, the bullet comes out, it hits the soldier who is opposite to that particular soldier, and he dies. He turns into a dead thing, he turns into a dead material. Now there is no life pulsating in him. What a change, what a drastic change it is. The person was living just a minute before he was living. Now he is turned into the dead one. And who or what did bring this change? This change was brought by that destructive, dangerous, deadly bullet. Now nothing can bring that particular dead person into life. You see how fatal, how dangerous, how destructive, how horrific, how terrific, how terrible is war. Therefore, I have discussed war threadbarely with you just because you people are the future, not only of India, rather you people are the future of the world. You are the future of the humanity. Selfishness takes us to what? It's our greed to have more and more, more and more and more and more, which takes us to the path of confrontation, to the path of clash. And clash gives birth to the Hindi word that is clash. We want, we have become so heartless that we fail to see the happiness upon the face of other students. We must try to make the others happy. औरों को हंसते देखो मनु, हंसो और सुख पाओ, अपने सुख को विस्तृत कर लो, जग को सुखी बनाओ. Of course, if you make others sad, you won't be happy. You might be happy for the time being, but ultimately you will have to pay the price for the wrong you have done to that particular person. You have made him weep. You have made him cry. How can you laugh? You won't have the last laugh. And at the same time, if you make others happy, if you live for others, naturally, in the beginning, you might face some problem, but ultimately you will have the last laugh. You will have the peace of mind. And dear students, the most important thing in life is the peace of mind. The peace of mind which brings sound sleep. And there is no jewelry as costly as the sleep. Sona. We have jewelry that is Sona, also gold. But this sleep, SLEEP, sleep is very costly. Nothing is as costly as the sleep one. If you have the sound sleep, everything will be under your feet. So today I have just made a background for this highly reflective or suggestive poem, that is Break of the Day in the Trenches. Now I request people to go through the poem on your own, so that when I will be discussing the poem threadbarely in my next class, you won't have much difficulty in understanding the particular poem. Till then, enjoy yourself, try to abide by the instructions given to you by the administration or by the government to fight against this pandemic, that is COVID-19. Stay home, stay safe, stay blessed. Thank you. God bless you all.